time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
All right. ¿Qué onda, vatos locos? It's your boy Dave from the 4-Way coming to you all the way from San Jose, Califas. And I know what you're saying, 2 weeks in a row? 2 weeks in a row, Dave? What the F is going on? You're such a show-off. You love the bright lights. Hollywood, Dave. True, it's all you. Let me give a shout out to my co-host all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly, Irish, Drew Evo. ¿Qué pasa?
Don't worry, Dave. They all come for me anyway.
They here for Drew Evo. That's right. Hey, guys. Yeah, I have my Canon camera. It's a DSLR I use. You guys know about that. I try to level up my game. I don't use just a webcam because the webcam on the Mac that I use to stream the show, it don't work. But they said it should be ready by the end of the week, and we'll get back to normal things around here on the Shoe Shine. But you know what it is. Every Monday night, late nights, friends from around the world gather around to talk about the sweet science because we all love boxing so much. And some of us, if you're new to the Shoe Shine, some of us might be friends from Dave from the 4-Way's Vegas community. I always appreciate you coming in here because you know what? Life isn't just about the sweet science. But this weekend, it was Hollywood. Because, Drew, what could be more Hollywood than Ryan Garcia? Or Jake Paul? Yeah, Jake Paul's about to fight. Who could be more Hollywood than... I'll tell you who could be more Hollywood than Ryan Garcia. None other than Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. That's right. Friday night, Jennifer and Ben Affleck tied the knot. They went to Las Vegas and got a permit to get married and did another... What is this? Marriage number 4 for J-Lo? Damn!
Too many marriages.
And let me tell you something. From what I've been hearing, man, she controls the finances. She wears the pants. But I'm holding out hope, fellas, because as the ladies start to stream into the show tonight, all right? That's right, Sontel Media. Bennifer is back at it again. Bennifer 2022. Jeez, that's a real love story. As the ladies come in here, Angelica XO, shout out to you. I'm hoping that I might hook up the homie Drew Evo with a spicy Latina of his own. So ladies, don't forget to hit up Drew Evo at Drew Evo. You're open to that, right, Drew?
I guess.
All right, guys, 4 time is a charm. Are we done talking Hollywood bullshit? Drew, you know what? I think without the camera, I'm feeling myself even too much, man. I need to temper down. But let's talk about the sweet science, bro, because, hey, this was Ryan Garcia's fight week, but Friday night, ESPN put on a pretty good show in California out at the Pechanga Casino, and I love those Pechanga Casino fights in California. And this one featured 140-pound contender Arnold Barboza Jr., who he was actually just the week before the fight, man. He was on one of my favorite comedians, Felipe Esparza's podcast, a big comedy podcast. Felipe was... brought him on there, introducing him to the comedy world because Arnold Barboza is a local Mexican-American guy from Southern California who started boxing as a child, gave it up in high school, got back into it in his 18, 19, college age, and here he finds himself. He says, God damn it, I am a top 10, 140-pound fighter. Every guy that Bob Arum puts in front of me, I'm going to fight. And he's beat. And he did that again this Friday night at the Pechanga Casino Resort. He's been asking, damn it, give me a fight with the biggest name you got, please. I would like to fight Teofimo Lopez. And as we know, the story of Teofimo Lopez is that he became the so-called undisputed champ, lost it, defending it for his very first time. And now he says he's a 140-pound fighter. And he'll be fighting next month in Las Vegas in August. Just 2 weeks with Xander Zayas as the co-main. And he's now a 140-pound fighter. Drew, Teofimo Lopez is ranked. Let me tell you who Teofimo Lopez is ranked by. Let's look at this. Let's look at this together, guys. Who has Teofimo Lopez ranked? This is the 140-pound rankings. Of course, Josh Taylor had all the belts, but decided he's not going to defend the WBC belt. He gave that one up. That's vacant. What else did he do? WBA belt is up for grabs, right? Right? But Teofimo Lopez finds himself number 8 by the WBA. And he's never fought. Even more shocking, the WBO, that some people say is Bob Arum, Top Rank's, sanctioning body, in-house. Teofimo Lopez finds himself top 4, and yet he's never fought in his life at 140 pounds. Arnold Barboza has been on as the co-main. Now he was the main event on Friday night. He's fought everybody. And he fought a guy in the name of Zorrilla, who's Puerto Rican. So it was a nice Chicano Puerto Rican fight on Friday night. And it was actually pretty good. It featured someone that Sonteo Media might be familiar with, Murataya. The school teacher was a co-main event with Valtierra, another guy from León, Guanajuato, which is shout out to my mom with the state of Guanajuato. And featured also Richard Torres, the guy who just won silver as a silver medalist in the Olympics, knocked out a Mexican chubby dude from TJ or wherever he's from, Drew, 1 round. All right, let's get Drew Evo back in here. Drew, Friday night fights. Did you catch any of the action on ESPN Plus?
Yeah, I caught it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't care too much for Richard Torres.
Interesting. Okay, hey, here's the deal with Richard Torres. He's not a full-size heavyweight in my eyes. He says it don't matter, okay? When he fought that the guy from Eastern European, he could not beat him. It was not the first time. In fact, that Eastern European guy who defeated him in the Olympics knocked him out, I think, one point in an amateur fight. So I think he's going to have trouble with guys in the heavyweight division that are full-size, man. If he could get down a cruiserweight, I think he runs through the gamut. But we're going to see what Top Rank has in store. He says he's a heavyweight. He was fighting locally. A lot of people from Fresno area probably came down to check him out. Not impressed with that stoppage? You think you're just going to build him up?
Like I think he should go down a cruiserweight. Like, I guess he doesn't want to lose. He doesn't want to work hard and lose the weight and everything. I don't think he's a heavyweight. He shouldn't be a heavyweight yet. Like, he needs to fight a cruiserweight. Get his foot in the door, because these heavyweights are going to kill him, especially these bigger ones that know how to somewhat box. They're gonna eat him alive. Like, what is he, like 6'2", 6'1"?
Yeah, he's actually, he's really, like you say. Here's a clip.
Look at that. Go to sleep. Sends him back with a 3-punch combination. Oh, my goodness. Straight left hand splits the guard.
You want to talk about a quick stoppage? That's a stoppage that should not get me a copyright strike. Yeah, Drew, the guy, his level of opposition on Friday night, they take a step back. Coming off the Olympics, they take a step back. Once they start fighting professionally, all of a sudden now they're fighting guys that, are club fighters from TJ or Mexico or whatever region they can get. So I'm not shocked to hear that Drew's not impressed with Richard Torres Jr.'s performance on Friday. He might have problems with guys. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, Richard Torres, I think it's only his 2nd professional fight. Sonteo Media says right away, maybe he should go for the Bridgerweight title. I mean, he's somewhere in between there, man. He's like somewhere in between the Mike Tyson build of yesteryear, but going up against guys like Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, I find it really hard to see his success. Then again, man, how tall is Usyk?
6'3".
Yeah, just about an inch taller. And again, Usyk was the cruiserweight undisputed champion of the world before moving up to heavyweight and doing the unthinkable, doing the unthinkable. So anyways, Santiago says Bridgerweight's probably designed for somebody like Richard Torres. And back in the day, guys weren't even that big. I mean, yeah, he could have been considered a full-sized heavyweight. But, I want to give a shout out to this kid, Murataya, because him and his brother also fight. And he had this fantastic knockdown, Drew, because it really wasn't anything too exciting about it. Let me post this knockdown from their webpage here, because the fighter from Mexico had a delayed reaction.
And it finished with a left hook to the temple. It was a left hook to the temple that...
This kid from Mexico came to fight. In fact, Murataya has had a string of knockout performances. This is an up-and-coming contender of his own, Murataya. Him and his brother both fight. And this guy from Mexico wasn't going to be put down. Yeah, he fell face first from that shot to the temple, I believe. Delayed reaction. That could put out a lot of guys. But, hey, he went the distance. So shout out to this guy from Mexico. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Murataya comes as they develop him at Top Rank, because Top Rank does well developing lightweights, you know, and junior welterweights. They got a really good track record.
Like if you look at like Richard Torres' first fight, he got cut bad around his eye and everything. And the way he fights and everything, it's not going to favor him in the long run to fight like that against these bigger heavyweights, because they're just going to take advantage. They're just going to counter him. When he goes inside, they're going to uppercut him. Like, he's going to be he's very easy to hit. It's just not a favorable style and everything. I really think we're going to see a long build-up to Richard Torres, possibly until he gets to like maybe 25-0 before he fights somebody like real and everything. But I don't think this dude does anything in heavyweight. I don't even think he wins the title.
Well, they definitely at Top Rank have another very interesting prospect becoming contender rapidly, and that's Jared Anderson. So they definitely have people at Top Rank. And, you know, I think for now, we're just going to see Richard Torres for the next 6 to 10 fights against that type of opposition, build up his name, remind everybody he's a silver medalist, came close to becoming the gold medalist, and see what kind of star power they could develop with him. But ultimately, yeah, I've already made up my mind on Richard Torres Jr. I'm impressive what he did, winning silver, first Mexican-American on the U.S. Olympic team to ever do so. But we will see about his development, guys. I am really, really interested in what you guys have to say. Nando Lama says, Torres got head movement and a big left hand. He's a prospect. He's got time. So, yeah, definitely, you know, leave a comment after you're done on the shoe shine, because that shit helps with the algorithm. Let me know what you guys think of Richard Torres. Nando said, Murataya? Nah. Murataya? Nah.
I think Top Rank's best heavyweight prospect is Jared Anderson. He's gonna be the future heavyweight. Like, he's gonna be a champion in a couple of years.
You know, speaking of Jared Anderson, I saw a video on Twitter today of him sparring with Shakur Stevenson. Nothing serious, nothing real, but that was fun watching those two guys spar, just getting some work in. I mean, even someone a heavyweight can learn something from Shakur Stevenson and back and forth. You know, you see some of these things, and you do wonder how Canelo was doing with Frank Sanchez over at the gym at the, you know, where Reynoso camp. Sometimes those things you can be beneficial. Anyhow, moving on from Richard Torres Jr. and Murataya. Let's get to the main event, because this 140-pound weight division is the main attraction of tonight's Shoe Shine episode, because on Friday night, I'm telling you, we see a guy, he may not be a world champion, but we see someone that Top Rank has, Arnold Barboza Jr., who has done everything Bob Arum, his promoter, has asked of him, including getting passed by in a very tough fight for him with Zorrilla from Puerto Rico. The guy Zorrilla had a lot of knockouts, undefeated. This was a good test for the prospect in Arnold Barboza Jr., who says, God damn it, I am a top 5 contender and I deserve my title shot. And if you're not going to give me a title shot, give me a big name so I could build my star power. All right. Did he do enough to deserve it? That's up to you guys to decide. But I'm going to tell you right now who is not impressed. And that's someone that could easily today be undisputed champion of the world. It could have been Regis Prograis. Could it not have been Regis Prograis?
Yeah, it could have.
Regis Prograis is not impressed, man, because Arnold Barboza Jr. is apparently, you know, he's not fighting for Top Rank Regis Prograis, but with his whatever promotional contract he has, they could easily work this fight out. You know, and Regis Prograis is talking shit on everybody who's calling him out. And yet, Regis Prograis, he hasn't fought anybody. The last time I think I saw him fight, wasn't it, what is it, on that so-called boxing network? What happened to that thing? Trilla?
Yeah. Ivan Madakoff? I don't know what his fucking name is.
Exactly. Well, here it is, Regis Prograis. This dude calling me out and he has his own clips of, it was back and forth action with Arnold Barboza Jr. And I have to remind everybody about these rankings here because let's go back to the rankings, man. At 140 pounds, Regis Prograis is ranked number 3 by the WBC. He's pissed, man. Regis Prograis thinks that he should be the ones fighting for that vacant WBC belt versus Jose Cepeda or Jose Ramirez. But most likely, we're going to see Jose Cepeda and Jose Ramirez in a rematch for the vacant WBC title. Your thoughts on that, Drew? Is that fair? Is that fair to Regis Prograis?
I think it should at least be in one of these title fights for one of these vacated belts.
The other vacated belt is Batir Akhmedov, who I believe is the guy who got beat up, who beat Mario Barrios and didn't get the decision. Alberto Puello, I don't know him. Ismael Barroso, don't know him. O'Hara Davies. Then Sandor Martin at number 5. Sandor Martin's impressive victory over Mikey Garcia has gotten Sandor Martin in the top 5. Unlike Arnold Barboza Jr., Sandor Martin is ranked number 5 by the WBC, ranked number 5 by the WBA, ranked 15 by the IBF. That win by Sandor Martin propelled him, Drew, into the conference. He's ranked higher than Arnold Barboza Jr. just off that victory off Mikey Garcia. Is that freaking deserved or what?
But he was a big underdog in that fight with Mikey Garcia. But I think Martin versus Prograis would be a good fight for the vacant WBA belt and everything. But, somebody's going to, Teofimo's going to put his claim in, and his dad's going to put his claim in that he deserves a shot at being one of these vacated fights. But he hasn't fought nobody at 140. He hasn't earned it. And, a lot of people on it, the YTBC is gonna fanboyish him and agree with it, and they're gonna make excuses why he should be fighting for that belt. And it's a shame. I gotta shut every one of them down.
For Regis Prograis' sake, Drew, I hope his promotional contract, which is I believe is at Pro Bellum, and you guys can remind me if I'm wrong with that Pro Bellum promotional contract. I think it means he can essentially go and fight over at Top Rank. It's something that can be made. It's like Lou DiBella working with Top Rank. He can also appear on DAZN, which makes him very, very interesting because we're going to get right into Ryan Garcia pretty damn soon. Nando Lamas already. Is he a freaking mind reader? Sandor versus Ryan. That's good. We're gonna get it. I think you might be reading my mind a little bit. Yeah? You're not liking that fight?
It's an okay fight. It's a fight that, Martin does deserve to get on a fight like that, to fight somebody like that since he beat Mikey Garcia, but I don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening because that's one of the only possibly 2 fights you can see Ryan on DAZN fighting at 140 is him, and the other one is Montana Love. Neither one of them are promoted by Golden Boy. Both of them, one of them is promoted by Matchroom, and the other one did business with Matchroom to fight Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, and we're jumping right into that. So let me end the discussion right now with regarding Arnold Barboza Jr. Listen, I'm a fan of the guy personally. I'm not sure if he's ever going to get to world champion level at 140 pounds. But when you get a fighter who does everything his promoter asks and pass every test, that's how you earn the support of Dave from the 408 on the Shoe Shine. I have to give credit to guys like Teofimo Lopez, even though Drew may not feel so good about that, and even Devin Haney, because their path to championship, they did everything that they were asked to, and they ducked nobody, even especially Teofimo, getting past Lomachenko and then fighting all the other champions in a row. This is something, Drew, that Ryan Garcia has done nothing like. Of the 4 Kings that 2 years ago when they birthed the 4 Kings bullshit, same age. They're all the same freaking age, aren't they? They're under 25 years old. Under 20 professional fights. Somehow Teofimo Lopez manages to collect nearly 4 straps. And then Devin Haney manages to do it too. And Ryan Garcia has done none of that. So let's get to the business at hand about Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia Fight Week. Mr. Hollywood himself got a Netflix movie coming out starring himself, produced by Michelle Rodriguez, who made her acting debut in a boxing movie of her own. Drew, she said, you know what? This kid is so damn cute. I need to make a movie about a boxer so I can have Ryan Garcia star in a Netflix movie coming to Netflix. Have you seen Netflix stock by anybody? Have you seen Netflix? I hear Netflix is in trouble. If you bought Netflix stock, shit. You know, Netflix can go screw themselves, Drew. I'm going to tell you why. Because I heard that they're ready to start putting commercials on Netflix because they're not making enough money. So just like YouTube, when you're in the middle of watching something you like, they finna put a commercial on Netflix while you're in the middle of binge streaming. I hope they put all the commercials. Just put all the commercials during the Ryan Garcia movie that's coming up. All right, just start there if you're gonna do commercials. All right,
that's a good point.
I digress. All right, Ryan Garcia Fight Week. Okay, let's start with the tickets sold because this is a great argument coming from Gervonta Tank Davis already. You didn't sell as many tickets as I did in LA. All right, so how are you the A side? Let's just review what happened. All right, Javier Fortuna, Ryan Garcia was supposed to fight him 2 years ago when it was a decent fight at 135 pounds. Because let's face it, man, Javier Fortuna after that loss from Jojo Diaz looked washed up as hell. And if you don't remember, Javier Fortuna is a former world champion from 2015 when he was a featherweight. A 5'6" featherweight, which is cool. You know, 5'6" for a featherweight. And then he won another title, a paper title of sorts, like one of these that Gervonta Tank Davis has at 130 pounds. All right. That's who Javier Fortuna is, a former world champion from 7 years ago. That's who Ryan Garcia picked for his opponent, a guy who just lost to Jojo Diaz, another former featherweight. Jojo Diaz was kind of hot shit at featherweight and did okay at 130 pounds. So tell me, everyone, are we going to get Ryan Garcia versus Jojo Diaz at 140 bloated pounds? Shaking his head. Or are we going to get...
I figured.
Go ahead, Drew.
I figured this shit's going to happen.
You figured it was going to happen?
It's going to happen because, like I said earlier, there's only two good fights you could possibly make at 140 pounds down on the zone. And one of them is with Matchroom. The other one's done business with Matchroom. And I don't think neither one of those fights happen because they just don't trust. They don't want to risk it. They don't want to put him against Montana Love. I think Montana Love beats Ryan Garcia. Martin, he's an iffy. It's a 50-50 fight.
Southpaw.
You don't know what this dude's gonna show up. And it's we gotta make a big fight. We gotta give him a big name. Let's get JoJo to move up to 140. That's what's gonna happen.
It is not much different than what's going on with Tank Davis and Floyd, blatantly telling us you're going to get the in-house fights first. You're going to get what I can make happen easily first. And this is right up what Oscar's cooking for us right before our eyes. We're probably going to get Jojo Diaz. But let me know what you guys think because the phone line is open, 702-710-3627. Chicano Prophet says, is Dave stoned? Because I like his humor in this. Well, thank you. No, I'm not stoned, but shit, maybe I should try it sometime. Maybe I should try the podcast stoned. The phone line is open. Who you guys think Ryan Garcia is going to fight? Because he wasted no time making sure everybody knows that he wants to fight the other big star in boxing with virtually zero belts on the line. He wants to fight Tank Davis with one caveat. At my new weight class of 140 pounds. But I want to fight him at 140 pounds. So I'm calling the shots already. 503, I'm going to put you on because Drew stepped away. 503, what's up? You were on the Shoe Shine.
What's happening, Dave? This is Chicano Prophet.
What's good, Chicano, man? We were talking about all this weekend stuff. Of course, it was Ryan Garcia's weekend. We can talk about the top rank stuff, which may be trivial to the non-casual Talk to me. What's on your mind?
Well, Dave, I think that you should talk more about Ryan Garcia, man. For some reason, people want to stifle the, I don't know, the acknowledged potential that he might have. I feel like everybody's downplaying Ryan Garcia a little bit. And there's multiple reasons, okay? And, well, there's an elephant in the room, Dave, and you and I, we know why he gets hate, because he's a pretty boy. And, you and I can talk about it because we were the pretty boys of ACP, no doubt about it, right? So all I'm saying is that, he gets a lot of hate. I don't even really want to like the guy that much, but he has potential. He's calling out people like Tank Davis. He's calling out Teofimo Lopez. And from what I've seen, dude, Oscar's always down to make a deal. I don't know why we aren't more excited with the fact that he's trying to take on a big fight right away at 140.
Well, let me backtrack to my very first episode on YouTube. Drew and I had been on other platforms, but our very first episode was about Ryan Garcia in January of 2021. And in that show, I said that his potential starting at lightweight could potentially mirror the career of Oscar De La Hoya, a guy who spans across multiple divisions and becomes a champion in multiple divisions because the potential is there. The potential to be a star is there. Or I also said that he could be the next vicious Victor Ortiz, or he could very well be the next Amir Khan. And I still wholeheartedly believe that those two paths are what we're going to see from Ryan Garcia. But now, let's be real. He left the 135-pound division without making a mark on that division. So already now everything's working against him. He's not panning out to be the Oscar De La Hoya for me because he blatantly told everyone that he's not interested in those belts. That belts really don't mean anything. Do they mean something to boxing fans, though, Chicano?
I mean, that's a great question. But, to kind of talk about what you just said, man, because you were touching on a lot of good points, Dave. First off, Ryan Garcia is no De La Hoya at 135. That's for damn sure. I saw Oscar De La Hoya on Instagram after the fight saying, hey, man, I want to make this fight happen. You guys don't know me, but, he was talking to the young audience, you guys don't know me, but I used to be pretty good. And he was really good. I went back and watched Oscar at 135. I wasn't paying attention at the time, but if you go watch him, man, he's so prime. A lot of people like to give Mayweather Sr. a lot of credit for how good he looked later on, but I think he looked really good at 135 and 140, man. Really athletic, really crisp, killer left hand, very active. He was good at playing the big man the way he was against Chavez, and I think that, we might be able to see him play the big man against Tank. Maybe, dude, he's not a small frame guy. I heard conspiracy theorists who said that, Fortuna actually threw the fight. They were making a point of saying that Ryan Garcia was a 154 pounder actually, and that he could just, secretly weigh whatever he wanted. So, I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. I'm not saying that he's great, dude. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, hell, throw him in. We got nothing to lose. You know what I mean? Throw him in there. Sure, let's see the best fights.
There's a lot of good fights for him to be made at 140 pounds, but essentially to me, hey, you start from the bottom. You got to work up your way up the rankings, and that includes Teofimo Lopez, who fights in 2 weeks. He's calling out Teofimo as plan B. So, Drew, is Ryan Garcia just chasing the big names, or does he want to be the boxing star the way the old school fighters did it, which is get up the rankings by earning the shots and getting yourself into a title position as becoming a mandatory by a sanctioning body? Or is he saying, fuck all that, just give me the big pay-per-view fights now, who cares about titles?
First of all, Chicano, you didn't say hello to me. Hello to you. And second, I got a soda because I honestly don't give a fuck about. When I got a soda because I honestly don't give a fuck about Ryan Garcia.
You had the power for this. This Ryan Garcia fight week. What else is there to talk about? Chicano, this is an A-B conversation now. No, I'm kidding.
Well, let's look at it like this.
Hey, you know what? Drew has a problem with Mexican pretty boys. It's the truth. It's a wonder he hangs out with you and me, Dave. You know what I mean? He must like our personalities a whole lot.
When I first talked to Chicano and I saw his face, I thought actually he was Cuban. But no, let's get serious for a minute. I'm just gonna answer a question. No, I'm gonna ask a question. If Tank and Ryan fight at 140, which I don't think that shit gonna happen, do we give Ryan credit for beating Tank at 140? No.
That's a no from me.
Tank's is really a 130-pound fighter, man.
Chicano,
Like-
do you give him credit if he beats Tank? Is at the 140-pound weight limit?
Well, absolutely. Like, if Tank's going to escape through all these divisions and say, oh, well, it's okay that he doesn't fight the very best. Look at this guy. He can go up to all these weights. Well, he might as well fight a guy who's not even considered the best at 140. Like, we have an undisputed champion at 135, an undisputed champion, well, not anymore, but we know who the man is, Josh Taylor, and Tank doesn't want either one of them. So I don't think it's that much of a challenge for him to fight some guy who's what? Maybe in the top 10 at junior welterweight? Maybe. I'd have to think about it some more, but why not make this fight? It makes the most sense for both parties, for PBC and for Golden Boy. They should get this fight done.
Well, we don't see the same energy coming from Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney to fight each other, and then Devin Haney say, but on my terms. That's what bothers me, is that everything has to be on Ryan's terms. He's asserting himself as the alpha here, that he's the A side, which essentially, like, to me, I know this fight's not going to get made. It's just not going to get made with one guy expressing that he's the A side already, trying to call the shots. The minute he wins this fight, he's saying it's on my terms. But I want to fight you. He keeps hammering it to the general public, to the casual fan, to the girls that are in their 20s following him and on his Instagram. Look at me. I'm calling the guy out. But everyone forgets these caveats. There's conditions to it. This fight's not going to happen.
Like, these guys got a lot of similarities if you look at it. They both like fighting small guys. They both are moving up in weight to duck people. The only difference is one of them came out and said, hey, we're keeping fights in house. I don't believe Oscar would try to keep fights intentionally in house. I think Oscar is at a standstill with fights he can make. And the problem is, man, with Ryan Garcia, he's trying to call out Tank Davis as a reason to stay relevant and fighting the competition that he's fighting. That's the only way he's fucking staying relevant. And when people realize this shit ain't happening, nobody's gonna give a flying fuck about him. Only the females, they'll probably do it because they gonna look at him. They're gonna say, "Oh, Ryan," and everything, and they know they're not even gonna get close to Ryan. Sorry, females, to break your heart, but who gives a fuck?
Chicano, Drew makes a very good, valid point that they're both guilty of the same thing, which is beating up on guys much, much smaller, including that sensational knockout Gervonta Davis had against the 100 for the former featherweight, not former featherweight champion. He still holds the damn featherweight champion, dragging him up, right, Drew? Dragging him up. This is the height of guys' caliber that Ryan Garcia is fighting. Okay, 5'6" in Fortuna. Tank Davis is supposed to be 5'5", and then Jojo Diaz, 5'6". All right, Ryan Garcia is nearly 5'11". He probably is 5'11", underlists himself, so people aren't afraid to fight him. That's why I said, hey, Chicano, Ryan Garcia has all the potential to be the star and to have some kind of legacy like Oscar did, spanning multiple weight divisions. He's got the build, he's got the hand speed, he's got the power. Defense, not so much.
So he does is power.
Speed and power will get you a lot of places, man. That will get, hey, you got to be gifted with that to win titles. So we're going to see how this all plays out. You still with us, Chicano?
Yeah, I mean, these are a lot of great points. And all I can say is, you're right about both fighters, man. Like, I've been wanting to see Tank fight somebody real. Like, it's amazing how much of a pass he's gotten. Like, the dude's 28. He's about to be 28. He's not young. Ryan, well, he's 23. Like, I think if his next fight, if it's, in his power to make a Teofimo Lopez fight or a Ryan Garcia fight, I think we should respect him. Hey, he's doing pretty well. He's managing a lot at a very, very young age. I mean, this guy has fame, beautiful women all over him. He's rich, and he's still going in there and performing and has a very good living for himself, so he manages a lot. Joe Goosen, who I really respect, has said a lot about his ring IQ. All I'm saying is, like, I'm keeping an open mind towards. I'm not like ready to say he's the next big thing, but he has potential. But Davis, like, we need to see him step up and challenge himself against somebody notable. Like, I think this is the natural match. If neither of these guys want to face the top guys, then they need to collide.
Yeah, and there's, like, you guys in the chat have put some really good names. Nando mentioned Sandor Martin, who had that impressive upset victory over Mikey Garcia, a former world champion at 140 pounds. That could easily be made at DAZN, and I wouldn't be hating on that fight at all because Ryan has shown to be pretty damn good against southpaws. Sandor Martin, such a slick southpaw that Mikey Garcia really was kind of stunned in that fight. So that's a really interesting matchup for me against someone who is ranked across the board by almost every sanctioning body. Sandor Martin can be made, and I would accept that over stupid Jojo Diaz, 5'6", former champion at 126 pounds. Stop beating up on the little dudes. It's time for you to show that in your division that you're a player. Sandor Martin, Montana Love, a breakout star in his own right, kind of becoming a star. And also, like Drew said, man, that could be made. He's ranked number 7 by the IBF and a DAZN in-house fighter, right, with Eddie Hearn, Drew?
Yeah, but the problem is Golden Boy and Matchroom, I don't think they're going to make fights together. And all the heat and the hate between Eddie Hearn and Oscar, especially Oscar coming out and say, I want to match him up with Bivol. Like, end of the day, man, it's not going to happen. He's, like, if you look at it, these fights are not going to get made.
Yeah, I appreciate you, God on Profit, for calling into the show. Make sure you check out lttle this week. Drop it in the comment section what time your show is going to be this week, because I love the lttle podcast. Sometimes I listen to it at work. We got another caller, Drew. Go ahead, Drew.
Okay. No, it's like if he goes and tries to get a fight, if they try to make a fight with Teofimo, Senior's going to say, oh, this is a pay-per-view fight. I don't think this is a pay-per-view fight because I don't think Teofimo is a pay-per-view star. I don't think Ryan Garcia could be a pay-per-view star unless it's probably a tank fight.
Well, I might have to agree to disagree on that. When I think about it, Teofimo and Ryan selling a fight, I think it might merit a pay-per-view attraction. Even though you would think, hey, Lomachenko versus Teofimo wasn't. I think maybe there's more name recognition now with Teofimo, and they could possibly sell it to us as a pay-per-view. But let me know what you guys think. I got a couple of calls on. We'll get to them with you guys right now. Let's start with 915. Hey, 915 here on the Shoe Shine.
Yo, how's it going?
What's going on?
Just chilling. I'm driving, and I have Bluetooth, so don't worry.
Hey, I appreciate the call. D-Style. Let me just let everybody know it's D-Style. If you guys don't know D-Style, make sure you check out D-Style on YouTube. What's up, D-Style? Tell me what's on your mind.
Look, what's on my mind, I'll tell you what's on my mind. All right? First of all, ain't none of these dudes pay-per-view stars, at least not the pay-per-view stars that I grew up watching. You know what I mean? Now, could they make a pay-per-view together, some of these guys? Maybe. But here's the deal. Like, here's what people need to understand. Ryan Garcia, and I think Calix made a good point today, he's calling out guys that he knows there's a lot of firewalls and a lot of barriers to make some of these fights happen. Mm-hmm. He knows it's kind of difficult to make the tank fight happen. He knows that the second option, Teofimo, is another kind of difficult fight to happen. There are names and good, credible opponents that he could fight that are more credible than, like, look, he fought Fortuna. Fortuna is not exactly a household name. So before somebody says, well, nobody knows who those guys are, like, if he called out Regis Prograis, Regis would answer that call so fast, it'll be quicker than the speed of light. Right? But for some reason, he's not calling out those names. Now, again, people are going to say, no, well, that's because nobody knows who he is. Okay, well, no one really knew. More people know Prograis and Fortuna. Like, I don't know. It's debatable, I guess. But there's definitely fights for him that he could engage in that people will take right away, in my opinion. That's why I'm not very optimistic that we're going to get the tank fight. I'm not really optimistic even the Teofimo fight, which is saying is his alternative, it's his backup plan, if the tank fight doesn't happen. I want to know what's your third option, Ryan? That's what I want to know. Because there's plenty of dudes that want that smoke with you,
Oh, yeah. Let's look up some of the names. Jose Cepeda, Jose Ramirez, Jack Catterall, who had that, it should have been an upset win for him. There's plenty of guys. Subriel Matias, someone that people don't often talk about. Do you even know who promotes him? Because this is a guy who would be a tough fight for Ryan Garcia as well.
Look, Matias is actually a solid puncher, pretty decent boxing skills, so somebody to look out for. But the truth is, I think we're going to get an underwhelming opponent for Ryan next, in my opinion. A fight I'll accept if it happens at 130. It has to be at 135 now, not 140. It's a Jojo Diaz fight. Jojo Diaz has been calling Ryan everything in the book. He's been calling him he's calling him a bitch. He's calling him a pussy. He's calling him all types of words, all types of B words and P words. And I think if Ryan doesn't have any other option, I mean, they're both a golden boy. Why not? I want to see Jojo go all the way up to 140. Just my opinion. Although we may never see Ryan at 135, though, man. I mean, he's probably going to stay at 140.
Yeah, I agree with you that fight is somewhat compelling, especially if Jojo Diaz isn't coming off a loss, but only compelling at lightweight. There's so many compelling options for Ryan Garcia at lightweight. It's actually a shame that he's abandoning that weight division so quickly, because that just breaks up the whole Four Kings narrative now, right? Him versus Devin Haney, him versus Teofimo. But you made a damn good point, man.
Well, everyone's moving up anyway, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think Haney's going to move up at some point. Teofimo already moved up. Tank's already campaigned at 140. I think 140 is going to open up. And 135 is going to kind of be a relic of the most recent past. And we're going to see new guys pop up at 135, I think.
Yeah, still the two of the hottest divisions in boxing for me, definitely. Hey, are you doing any more shows this week? Are you doing the roundtable this week?
Yeah, I'm doing a roundtable on Thursday, for sure. There's an interview I'm trying to line up on Wednesday. It just depends on the news. I can't say anything else, but
all right.
So I might be going live late night, but I'll be with Calix on Calix Boxing for Boxing Lines, where we talk about like a lot of the boxing betting and stuff like that.
Wow, I love that. All right, well, shout out to Calix and to you. Make sure everyone subscribe to D-Style, and I appreciate the call, brother. And talk to you later.
Peace.
Thank you, D-Styles. All right, we got another call from the 209. That was D-Style. Make sure you guys check him out on YouTube. Been real instrumental in helping us out here at the Shoe Shine. I do appreciate him. And also, if 510 wants to call back, let's go to 209 real quick. The 209, Stockton, California. 209, you're on with the Shoe Shine.
Hey, what up?
What
up, Dave? This is Nopal Boxellanos right here calling in. What's up, Drew? How you doing, bro?
What's up, Nopal?
Hey, I heard from you in a minute. Nopal, what is on your mind?
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to chime in a little bit on Ryan Garcia, man. I was really impressed with the way he executed that fight. And, you know, he actually showed that he's improving his distance with these fighters. You know, he doesn't have that much head movement, but I can see that he's really, like, staying at a distance and reading the distance really good. So kind of like Triple G, he's staying out of the way and just hitting the guy kind of like from his angles. And I was really impressed, man. I just hope that he can be more, stick with it and not get fucked up in the head like he tends to do, you know? So, you know, I'm kind of pulling for him. And I wanted to say that this guy's on a different level, man, as far as earning potential and his stardom.
Well, that's a great point.
Actually, he's attracting companies that other boxers just can't do. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. That's why I said today's Hollywood. Today's the Hollywood Shoe Shine. $2 million. I'm so glad you brought that up, man, because I saw the purse splits. They're public. $2 million. He's no longer a $1 million fighter, which is kind of standard as a marquee star fighter that once you break the six figures, you know, you are a $1 million fighter. He's a $2 million fighter now.
And check this out, Dave. Mm-hmm. That's without even trying, bro. Imagine if he puts his head to it and says, hey, I'm going to try to make more money and I'm going to try to fight a couple times more and be more active, you know, and get more famous, even more famous. I mean, this guy could make super amounts of money and he could easily be a pay-per-view star. So, you know what I mean? as far as them saying that he wants to fight Tank, I don't know, man. He might want to fight Tank, but I don't think that anybody's going to budge as far as giving up their position on this, because everybody's going to try to punk the other, as far as negotiations. They're going to try to all get their way, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. So they might as well just get real and not even talk about it,
So is he motivated by money? Let's be real, because fighting these type of fighters, the Javier Fortunas, he's now a $2 million fighter, but we know damn well that a pay-per-view fight between him and Gervonta Tank Davis, he might think it's record-breaking. Some people are going to be like, hell no, it's not record-breaking. It's not going to ever break Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao or Conor McGregor. But it could be like...
And it doesn't have to, you know what I mean? Because those are past numbers that were once possible.
Right.
I don't think those type of numbers are possible anymore. So there's different goals right now. If it hits 500,000, 500K, that would be a success for both of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they just got to get realistic about it. If they do it right now, it'll probably hit about 500K. If they both go on with their careers and get even more stardom, then it could be north of 1 million pay-per-view buys,
Will Gervonta Tank Davis ever be a 140-pound fighter? That's what I'm really, to be honest, looking at his frame, I don't think it's going to happen. For Gervonta Tank Davis, there's some incredible fights between him and Shakur Stevenson possible, or Devin Haney at 135. But that's what's bothering me, is that Ryan Garcia's already told us he's not going back down to 135. It is a big money fight. I will not deny that's probably the biggest payday that both of these gentlemen can earn in their lifetime. And if they do it now, the better for the sport of boxing. If they do it, the sooner the better. Because to be honest, I can't see Ryan Garcia staying around 140 pounds as he approaches his mid to late 20s. The guy's going to go and become a welterweight eventually, and probably retire.
Even a super middle, right? He might end up with at where Xander Zayas is right now, because I was looking at him and he did look kind of like the same height and dimensions as Xander Zayas.
Listen, if you talk to Xander Zayas privately, he'll tell you that Ryan Garcia is someone that he's always had an eye on. He's not afraid to say that, because he recognizes, Xander Zayas recognizes, the fight between him and Ryan Garcia is the equivalent to De La Hoya versus the biggest Puerto Rican star he ever faced, right? It's like the modern day equivalent in terms of two potential future stars colliding at some point. So I'm sure they're on each other's radars. Great point, man. Who would you like to see him fight next? Who would satisfy you in terms of Ryan's development next? Everyone's got a chance to chime in. He says he's going to be at 140 pounds. These are his dream fights. Gervonta Tank Davis, Plan B. D-Style just pointed out it's Teofimo Lopez, but hard fights to make, right? He's good at using social media.
You know what, bro? I'm going to keep it real, bro, and be kind of like a casual on this one. I don't even care who he fights, bro, as long as he just keeps fighting and eventually fights somebody. But actually, JoJo fight wouldn't be too bad for me. You know what I mean? Because previously we didn't have anything, bro. He went on a hiatus. And we were all complaining about him, not taking this shit seriously. So to be real, I don't even care who he fights as long as he stays active. But the JoJo fight for me would be okay. I would be excited for that fight.
Now, D-Style made a good point. He said he would accept that fight if Ryan goes back to lightweight and changes his mind at lightweight. And I'm all right with it if it was at lightweight. But at 140 pounds, man, it's not even competitive, man. I think Jojo Diaz gets dropped. Probably from a body shot or a left hook. Just another showcase.
He'll take that fight for sure, because it's going to be a big money fight for him,
Another $2 million payday?
Happen,
Another $2 million payday in Los Angeles, the backdrop of Hollywood, California.
Dude, that's crazy. I didn't even know he was making that much money. I thought he was making still like 500K, $2
million.
So, my boy's coming up. Yeah, that's crazy money for him. That's like Devin Haney money almost, huh?
I don't know what Devin Haney. I would love, if anybody knows, drop a comment here in the chat what Devin Haney made on that Kambosos fight or signing this 3-fight deal. What I do know about Devin Haney, bro, is that his house in Las Vegas is embedded into the mountainside. And the only community I know of is Henderson, California, that has mansions embedded into the mountainside. And he publicly said in an interview when he was showing his house that it was 10,000 square feet for his house. That has to be like Oscar De La Hoya just signed a contract to have a custom home made in that community in Henderson, and he paid the builder $12 million. If Devin Haney lives in that same neighborhood, you can guess that his home is in the vicinity of $5 to $10 million. That's insane. There's no other fighter his age that has a house. I mean, you could drive down the Vegas Valley and there's all kinds of lightweights, welterweights working out at TMT that are living in apartments. You know, Blair the Flair Cobbs moved to Las Vegas to live in his car. Homeboy lived in his car. Damn. He was homeless. You know what I mean? And Devin Haney, not even 25 years old, got a house that's worth probably $5 to $10 million embedded in the mountain. But I don't even know what he gets paid, man. Somebody let me know what he gets paid. Haney got that Illuminati money. Well, he's putting on Illuminati type performances. Hey, no, Bob, this weekend is kind of thin on boxing, bro. But I wanted to give a shout out while D's, my co-host, not D's, my co-host Drew Evo stepped away. Do you ever watch Thompson Boxing on YouTube? You familiar with Thompson Boxing?
No, I heard about it, man, but I haven't gotten a chance. I heard they're really good.
Well, the great thing about Thompson Boxing, bro, is it's on Friday nights. And you know that they've had a lot of people that have come out of Thompson Boxing to become world champions or get in title position fights. That's one thing that they do. A lot of guys who've started on Thompson Boxing have moved on into that position. You know, I had Ruben Villa, interviewed him from Salinas, who got himself, as a Thompson Boxing fighter, got himself a fight against, you ready for this? Because somebody was busting my balls on the round table. He got himself a fight against... against Navarrete of Mexico on Top Rank. Yeah, did I do it? D-Style, you still listening? Is that good? All right, New Blood on Friday night on YouTube. You guys can watch this. And my boy Duran Sports and Dougie Fisher do an amazing job of commentating on the fight while interacting with the crowd, like we're doing right here on podcast, man. And nothing feels better than like 500 people watching a fight, and then they just say, "Hey, Shoe Shine Boxing is in the house, man." So make sure you tune in to Thompson Boxing this Friday. Drink some cervezas. This guy, Richard Brewer, man, I'm kind of a fan of him. I think he's going to be somebody that could potentially get himself in the middleweight game. Put his name out there. He'll be on that card, and they're usually always surprised at who could be a potential star coming out of Thompson Boxing. So shout out to them. And then Saturday night, man, ESPN has got another show coming up for featherweight, man. This is going to be a good fight. It's going to be, let me tell you right now, man, featherweight action. Yoet Gonzalez versus Isaac Dogbo, the former champion. Are you keen on any of those guys? This is for... It's fight week.
That's a good one, bro.
Gonzalez versus Dogbe, the former champion Dogbe. And then, you know, Gonzalez, Yoet Gonzalez, I went and saw him fight against Shakur Stevenson in Reno like 2 years ago. A few of my homeboys were on that card. And I thought Yoet Gonzalez was nothing. You know, after seeing him get beat up by Shakur like that, just toyed with, I was like, this guy's not a good fighter at all. But after that fight, he looks good. And that just pretty much told me, dude, that's how good Shakur Stevenson is, man. He makes good fighters look like shit. Whether it's at featherweight or now he's at 130 pounds. But both of these guys, one a former champion and one Gonzalez, a title challenger, they really want to get this fight with Navarrete at Top Rank.
Hey,
yeah.
I was going to tell you, you got to pass for me to call him Navarrete if you want to, bro.
Thank you, man. And that's what's up. That's what's up this Saturday. Wonder where Drew is, because the other fight coming up, man, that everyone's talking about, that's all we're getting for boxing. You can watch on Friday night, you can watch Thompson and, you know, engage in the chat, which I think is always fun. You can watch Yoet Gonzalez versus Isaac Dogbo on Saturday. That's only going to get us into July 30th, which finally Showtime Boxing comes back. And Philadelphia's Danny Garcia makes his debut at 154 pounds. I'm going to ask you, because Drew's not here, but he said some crazy shit today, this week. He said he should already be in the Hall of Fame, that what he has accomplished, Danny Garcia, 2-division champion, that he's done more than enough to see himself in the Hall of Fame of boxing in the future, man. Is he talking too premature?
I don't know, man. He had a pretty awesome career at 140, and I know there's a lot of fighters that have talked the same way. You know, they're saying because they have 4 or 5 divisions, you know, like Broner and Mikey Garcia, they have said that they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So that's not too far fetched. I mean, I thought that this guy had more momentum than them, but as far as accomplishments, I don't know. I mean, but it's not up to me. You know what I mean? What do you think?
You know, there's a lot of fighters that have had that career trajectory where they were champions at 140 and 147. I think of somebody like Paulie Malignaggi, but his wins at 140 and 147, they weren't as good as wins or championship wins against people of the caliber that Danny Garcia did. And Danny Garcia did have that really impressive knockout streak for a while at 140 pounds. As we've been talking about this division at 140 pounds. I haven't seen any of the guys on this list, whether it's Jose Ramirez or Josh Taylor, like have the career Danny Garcia did at 140 pounds. I agree with you on that. Is it enough? Is it enough in those two divisions? Have we seen the last of Danny Garcia moving up to 154 pounds? I don't know, man. He says he's still got a lot of fight in him, man. And that's what's really interesting. You think he's going to make a statement at 154, a division that's got an undisputed champion in Charlo?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to say, man, because you know, it's going to be a different division. And the guys up there don't move as fast as they do when they're welterweights. So he definitely has an opportunity. But what I saw in his fight with versus Spence, I saw a guy that just gave up and didn't really, you know, just basically hit a plateau, you know. And maybe that plateau was just at 147, but I almost felt like, you know, they didn't have the same drive anymore left. So I really don't think so. Maybe he can give us some exciting fights. But and it would be nice if he actually could, but we'll see.
Yeah,
what do you think, Dave?
Shit, there's so many good. I mean, at 154 pounds, that division is stacked at PBC. I mean, we're going to potentially see the Australian come here and get a title shot. I'm talking about Tim Tszyu. There's Fundora. There's some beasts at 154 pounds at PBC, but I just can't see myself thinking that Danny Garcia could beat these young guys. You know, Chicano Prophet just says it's a payday for 2 faded fighters, man. It always ends up that way in the sport of boxing, man. You know, guys have to know when it's time for them to hang up the gloves on their terms, whether it's with a victory. And unfortunately for Jose Benavidez, man, he's always brought in nowadays to kind of be this gatekeeper type guy, someone who they thought, you know, could be special, and turns out his brother's the special one. This guy's got bullet fragments in his legs, man. He's kind of a shot fighter over that. I think he should get the.
Hey, that's kind of sucks because he did pretty good. Go ahead.
No,
sorry about that. Man.
What? Who do you think he did well against?
I thought he did pretty good against Thurman. You know what I mean? So imagine how he would have done it if his leg wasn't messed up like that.
You're right about that. You're right about that, man. That injury really changed his career trajectory. They really did think he was going to be the better of the two.
He was calling what's his name out for forever. That fight took like at least almost 2 years to be done from the time he was calling out Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's when his leg got messed up. You know,
yeah,
he got shot in between and when he was calling them out.
So I mean, yeah, the guy Jose Benavidez has an amazing backstory just to come back from that. But wasn't Bud Crawford shot too? Isn't Bud Crawford a gunshot survivor?
I don't think so, man. I think he shot a couple guys that were trying to rip him off on his car or something.
All right. Well, let me just catch Drew Evo what we're talking about. Drew, we're about to wrap up the show, man. We're talking about some upcoming fights Friday night. I just want to remind everyone, Thompson Boxing on YouTube with Duran Sports and Dougie Fisher commentating. And, of course, Drew, coming up July 30th, the return of Danny Garcia. He says, I should be in the Hall of Fame. Premature, Drew?
Yeah, premature.
Really? All right. Not enough. He hasn't done enough at 140 and 147. I mean, the argument is like, hey, even Paulie Malignaggi did the same thing. But like I was telling homeboy right now, I said his wins at 140 pounds were far more impressive against better quality fighters and he's done pretty decent at 147. But premature in your eyes now. 154 pounds. Is this his last weight division? Are we seeing the end of kind of Danny's career, or are you falling for it that he's going to be rejuvenated at this new weight class and potentially be a world title challenger?
I don't think he's running a belt.
That's
I think he's done.
You think he's done, man? You think he's done? Well, shit, that was kind of depressing. A Philly guy saying he's done. I know what you're saying, Drew, man. It's a long shot. He's had a long career. A lot of fighters who've been fighting from his era have already retired and call it a day. And in fact, you know, I often wonder how many more fights Thurman really thinks he has in the tank, man. Because these young guys at welterweight are taking over, and they're also taking over at 154. And then you got Charlo, man, who's got all the 4 titles. That's one tough cookie to crack, man. Definitely. But anyways, guys, it's been a really good one. Hey, I appreciate you calling me, bro. I always think you're one of the best callers on the Shoe Shine. I know everyone else loves to have you on the podcast.
Oh, man, thank you. I appreciate that, bro. You guys have a good night.
Hey, you too, man. We will see you next Monday. I promise to have this camera up and working by then. All right, guys. Been a real fun night. 140 pounds. 147. Got Danny Garcia coming back. Drew, what was your takeaway from this weekend, man? Give me your final thoughts on this Ryan Garcia shit going on Hollywood.
It's a waste.
It's a waste of your time?
Yeah.
I didn't even get to this, man, but as we end up the show, I'm talking about Hollywood. This bit going viral over here, Jake Paul, he thinks he's a master of everything, Hey, Jake Paul's got to get in on the action. Ryan Garcia took this photo last year after he had surgery on that hand. Then you had Oscar De La Hoya. He got in shape. He was going to have this fight, celebrity fight or whatever. I don't know. Remember Oscar was going to fight again? And then all of a sudden Oscar shows up in bed fighting for his life. And then there was a YouTuber that's got 1 million more followers than Drew Evo and I, and he posted one of these "I'm fighting for my life" pics, man. Is that what it's gonna take for us to get our subscriber count up? Make sure you subscribe to the Shoe Shine, hit that notification bell, drop us a comment on how we can make the show better. Do I need to put on one of these freaking gowns and do the show from a fucking hospital room to get these views up? Jake Paul wants you to know he had a little accident, but he's going to be fighting August 6th. Don't you worry. It's just a little roadblock, Drew. Do you have an opinion on the Jake Paul fight? You think this shit is cooked?
This is probably going to get fixed.
Probably fixed, huh? I know that if you look that up on Twitter, man, there's overwhelming sensation. This one's got some cooking going on in the background.
Yeah, and plus, they were saying that Rockman Jr.'s got a gag order that he can't discuss anything.
Well, definitely shout out to Joe Habib, Ringside Reporter. Make sure you check out his channel because he had an interview that I've got lined up. I got to go and listen to it today. So much shit came out today. He got that interview, right? About that gag order. So make sure you go check out Joe Habib, Ringside Reporter, for that exclusive interview. It's a really good one from what I hear. I can't wait to hear it myself. Got a gag order. Can't talk about it. Oh, man, what everyone's got to do for a payday. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia gets a $2 million payday fighting a guy who was a 126-pound fighter once upon a time. That's a sport of boxing. Make sure you hit up Drew Evo on Instagram. Follow me at ShoeShine_boxing on IG. All right, Drew, floor is yours.
Fuck Ryan Garcia.
That's it?
Yep.
That's it, man. Easy breezy. Another episode for the Shoe Shine. We will see you next week. Appreciate and love all you guys. See you guys next week. Have a good one, guys. Thanks, Drew. Peace out.